Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Club. And for those of you saying I'm late, no, I'm on time. I'm always on time. Suhail is always on time. And the others are always late. And usually we wait for them. But this time round, we decided let's not even bother doing that. So, Suhail, we wait for them. But this time round, Suhail, you've got something on. Let's not even bother doing that.
I have nothing
Suhail,
on.
Okay, fine. Sandeep Ghosh is here. Very good. Okay. So first of all, Sohail, you've been coined an activist this year. That's your new avatar. You've been raising your voice for all of us in Gurgaon, and thanks so much for doing that. I believe the Chief Minister himself has taken note of your efforts in helping us be heard, because this has been going on for so long. So just wanted to say thanks to you.
You're welcome. And I'm not looking for public office or any such shit. I just hope these guys get working and Gurgaon gets cleaned up as it should. It's
As it
people like you
deserves.
who are responsible for the mess, because you guys come from all over the world, come in there, pollute the damn cities, create all kinds of nonsense, bribe your
So
way
much for
through.
being nice. So much for being nice to you, Sohail. There's
And why
actually
do you
no
put boss there? Why is Advaita Kala boss? What does boss mean? Are you advertising for Hugo Boss?
I am the boss, no? That's why.
If you are the boss, you don't have to say it. When you make a great beer, you don't make a great fuss. Heineken, study it.
I'm happy being referred to as boss. The rest
But
is
no one is
yours.
referring to you as boss. You're the only one who stuck it there.
Hello?
Yes, Sandeep, we can hear you and you can hear us, I'm sure.
Hello, can't hear you.
We can hear
Well,
you,
there-
Sandeep.
We can hear you, and right now we're having a very important discussion.
And if you came on time, we would have checked your audio. Now you'll have to log off and log back on. Yes. I mean, they don't come on time, then they're like doing their technical
First,
checks.
I think Sandeep has a problem for every solution.
Yeah, and 1,000 questions. Welcome, Ajay. Looking younger.
Such a time.
Instead of discussing serious stuff, why are you so facetious always?
No, because
You're telling
Ajay,
him looking younger so that he pays.
why are you getting
compliment back to
jealous?
saying, "Oh,
Why are
you're
you getting
looking
jealous
thinner,
if
or
I'm
you're
praising
slimmer,
Ajay?
or your hair is nice.
Don't
Come
get
on,
jealous.
I mean, there can't be anyone else who's as good or even better than Suhail. So I mean, he has to be just himself, which is absolutely fine. That's what he is good for.
Ajay is
come
on
on,
a charm offensive. Ajay hug Pallavi
start
Ghosh
a
and
serious
whatnot.
discussion.
Yep. There you are. You heard Suhail. Let's
All
get
right,
on with it.
Let's start with the big one this week. Vice President Dhankhar's resignation, ostensibly on medical grounds, is a first. Hasn't happened before, unless the vice president has been moving on to become president. And this is really an unusual circumstance. By all indications, there's more to the story than what has been let out in the public domain. I think even the Prime Minister's tweet was a little terse in tone, which was revealing in itself. So I'm going to start with Suhail Seth, who actually knows the vice president also on a personal level, right, Suhail?
Very well. But I haven't spoken to him after his resignation. And
Okay.
so here's the thing. In 1999, when I was handling Mr. Vajpayee's campaign, one evening I asked him, I said, Babji, आप ये ऑफिस कभी रिटायर करेंगे, इस ऑफिस से कभी रिटायर करेंगे? And he said something very interesting. He says, and I'm translating in English. Actually, he said in Hindi, he says, सुहेल, दो तरीके से आदमी इस पद को छोड़ के जाता है, या तो भगवान बुला ले या आवाम बुला ले, which means either you die or you lose an election. No one goes on their own. Health reasons, no health reasons. Priya Ranjan Das Munshi was in a coma at our expense for 11 years. So no one leaves. This whole baloney about, oh, I've resigned for health reasons and all, is exactly that, baloney. A, B. I do not wish to conjecture like half the jokers in Lutyens, Delhi and in your parts of Gurgaon who think they know the reasons for his departure. What is quite evident is the following. A, things happened with the kind of alacrity that no one had ever imagined. Number two, he lost the confidence of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. Number three, his staying in office even for a second after that was untenable, perhaps because of what he was planning to do. What he was planning to do, we don't know. But it's quite clear that they did not want him in office. The fact that he pissed them off is evident in this thing that there was no farewell plan, there was no, and as you mentioned, the terse tweet, and he's been forgotten. What I find reprehensible, and this is part of our political discourse, once he has left office, all the guys who used to hate him have now begun to love him. All the guys who were supposed to love him have begun to hate him, which is par for the course. The day a Jairam Ramesh supports you, and if you're part of the government, you need to worry. And the fact that Jairam said the nice things that he did about him is, again, to my mind, not tenable. It's hypocritical, to say the least. So it has been a very, very watershed moment. It has never happened before, because normally the vice presidents are merely rubber stamps. Now they're saying he was upset about protocol, he wanted a Mercedes, blah, blah, blah. Look, I've known him. I don't think he's that kind of person. But then I've known you, and, there are many things that you do which shock us from time to time, including changing your statehood whenever it's convenient. So with people like you and him, we never know, but we take our chances.
People like me belong to all of India, which is something you
Yeah.
can't understand.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
you don't even support local Haryanvi talent, which is so sad. But anyway, Ajay, I wanted to ask you, because this is sort of very unusual, isn't it, just in itself? And the Prime Minister is somebody who we see even being friendly with people who have heaped the worst abuses on him. And he's kind of gracious about that. He's graceful about it. He takes it in a stride. But here with VP Dhankar, there's a chill, there's a frost. And one wonders how that could be. These are both very high offices. And what could have happened?
Advaita, Suhail has actually touched upon almost everything very effectively. But let's begin with the first instance. The fact that he lost the trust of the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, and the senior leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party was a message enough to rest of the party and cadre that you cannot cross certain red lines. And this was a terse but a firm example of stark action that can be taken by the BJP leadership. Let's go back slightly. Let's rewind a bit. It has been pending for a while. When the opposition parties were baying for Dhankar's blood, they wanted to get a impeachment motion done for the vice president, a first of its kind. Backdoor gossip has it that Mr. Dhankar developed a certain kind of consciousness at that point of time. How true, how false, nobody knows. But this is all what you hear now. But his supposed leniency towards opposition, voicing of or expression of disaffection and dissatisfaction in front of certain opposition leaders in one-to-one or a one-on-two capacity, these were things which were reaching the government and the BJP leadership for a long time. I mean, to imagine a Congress party come out and support, to imagine TMC doing a somersault. I wrote a piece in December, between 18th to 24th December. There's not one opposition party leader who has not called Dhankar a BJP shipoy, a BJP stooge, a BJP cheerleader, a BJP mouthpiece, a BJP and an RSS person, Mamta Banerjee herself. And the moment he resigns, everybody turns around and says he was virtually the best person to be in the seat. So definitely, see, things were not really going down the way. But yes, what action has been taken by the BJP leadership has even taken the opposition by surprise. Nobody ever anticipated that such a stern and harsh action can be taken against a person who is holding a constitutional post.
Yeah.
If you are an overt supporter, you can be summarily sacked. And just before being sacked, he signed in his own resignation, where he timed out the government. That's about it. So, yes, there is a lot of story. And as Sohail said, except a very few key people within the BJP and possibly two or three people in the BJP, nobody would really know what was the trigger, how it happened, and why things came to the frost that it did. Right now, everything about Justice Verma's impeachment process, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, this is all whataboutery of the best corner that you can see from the Congress, the opposition, the columnist. दिल्ली में बैठ के करेंगे क्या? कोई काम धंधा नहीं है कॉफी हाउस में चाटर करने के अलावा. None of these people know the real politics that's happening, and that's happening behind the doors. And for BJP, especially this BJP, since 2014, decisions are never made out in public. It is made and conveyed and executed. That's what
See,
I
the
understand.
only leaks in the BJP are from the states that they govern and through their drains and flyovers. The conspiratorial and other leaks never happen. The drains will leak, all that other stuff will happen, but you'll never get cover from them. So many a time that even you, Advaita, who pretend to know everything, we know that you're bullshitting because we know no one knows. But
I
we
don't
do
know
that.
anything. I don't know anything. I'm a babe in the woods.
Want to be so
I have no
harsh.
idea.
You seem
Ask
to be
Ratan
sitting in
Chowdhury.
Dehradun. I think you are sitting in Dehradun.
No, I'm in the NCR. But ask Ratan Chowdhury. I really don't know
Are you
anything.
swimming in the
No,
overflowing?
where in the NCR now? Where in the NCR are you? Gurgaon or Noida?
Gurgaon, your best city, Suhail.
इसके बड़े घर हैं.
See, Advaita, to my mind, I am not sitting in Delhi. There are people sitting in Delhi who have ears to the grapevine. Everybody's coming with wonderful conspiracy stories, talking about Dhankar, becoming too ambitious. Some of them could be believed, some of them could not be. But I would see there is some truth in the grain about this, because when he took up opposition resolution for impeachment, when he knew very clearly the government wants to put it up in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha both, that's where the game goes out. So nearly when he did this, so even if I don't want to believe into all the gossips and all the coffee shop talks, the very fact that he deliberately took opposition resolution and did not go with the government, which had already done so in Lok Sabha, and he knew about it, that shows he was up to some game, and that was being too ambitious for him at this stage. And I think this over ambitious overreach, whether he was in Kolkata, which brought him to Delhi, and then in Delhi he was more aggressive than required, then maybe he got formed with the opposition. All that I don't know, but I know his very act of trying to frustrate government's very important impeachment motion, that set the ball rolling, and then everything will come out. That's what's coming out. What Ajay is saying, a lot of people will say, but I would say there is clear indication he's not playing the right game. He's not playing honest.
Okay.
Definitely impacted.
Let me get Sandeep in. Ratan Chowdhury, let me get Sandeep in. Sandeep,
Yep.
All said and done, VP Dhankar, when he was governor of West Bengal, he kind of stood up to Mamata Banerjee. And that was required, because remember, this was even the era when a lot of BJP workers were being killed in the state. So there was a lot of political violence, and VP Dhankar was a man who was taking her on full on and challenging that kind of almost monarchy-like style of functioning in the state. What do you think went from there, from that position wherein he performed so well that he was immediately elevated to being the Vice President of India, to where we find ourselves today?
Aditya, I would put a rider on you performed so well. In terms of his, whatever you're saying, revolting or putting his foot down against Mamata Banerjee, whether you like it or not, I would say that's the kind of job S. Ravi is doing in Chennai. You may or may not support him, you may or may not think he is right, but he's trying to do that in asserting his authority. Dhankar's behavior or conduct in West Bengal, while people who didn't like Mamata Banerjee or people sitting in Delhi found it sometimes amusing and happy, but it did not really behove the style of a governor. It was very, very unconventional, to put it mildly. And therefore, I don't want to get into specifics of, many of his remarks, many of his actions. Like there was a clerical error in writing about the cabinet meeting timing. AM and PM was confused, so he actually called the meeting at 2 o'clock at night or whatever, because it's written 2 a.m. instead of 2 p.m. He said, "I will sit there because that is what is written." So he did all kinds of you might say very idiosyncratic, if not erratic things at that point in time. Therefore, his selection as vice president, at that stage, we thought he was a bit of a lone ranger. He may have had the blessings of the center, but he was also acting out on his own brief. So when his selection happened as vice president, some of us were actually surprised to think that, because that seemed like an endorsement of his behavior during his governorship in West Bengal. And that's where I say, I made a tweet also, I think BJP has to look at, Congress does far better in its loyalty tests. They have a mechanism, I suppose, to really test the loyalty of anybody they promote to any position of power, or even a Chaprasi's position. They know that there is 100% loyalty. BJP, whether it's with Satpal Malik, whether with him and many other people who've turned rogue earlier, I think either BJP hasn't got their act or the system right, they make that mistake. Some of these things which you're talking about, protocol, etc., I do not put it past Dhankar. Our own professor, if I may quote him, he referred to a situation in Jammu during the convocation, how he insisted on certain seating arrangement for his spouse. Even in West Bengal, those kind of things used to happen. So I don't put it past him. And he going in cribbing to people, which many people, while there are conspiracy theories, but people have said that how he says, "Hamara liye chair bhi nahi rehta, hamara picture nahi hai, hamara glass nahi rehta," all kinds of things. So whether he does them for effect or reality, one doesn't know. Now coming back finally, therefore, everything has been spoken, and Pallavi Ghosh is not here, so I can say with some.
What is your point? I've not understood. What is
okay,
the point?
Surel. So you haven't understood. Let me complete. If others have not understood, all well and good.
You went to Pallavi
no, I'm not just speaking. I'm not just speaking to you, Surel. I'm speaking to others if they don't understand.
Okay, Suhail, let him finish. Suhail, let him finish.
Sorry.
Stop heckling.
Okay, Surel. So the point here is, I think there is much more than these petty stuff. So the first part of the thing which I was saying, none of those are trivial enough, or though I put them past Dhankar. What you are saying, his behavior even there. So there was a question of people misassessment. He may have been made for being a judge, etc. Now what he was doing, I think it's something much more than some minor expression of dissent or, trying to be his own man, etc. There is something much bigger. And why I mentioned Pallavi Ghosh is I was discussing with her about some of our compatriots in other channels talking about a bigger, larger conspiracy theory about, with the opposition, he's asking people to call Chandrababu Naidu, to contact Jat MPs and the rest of it. So whether he was part of all that sort of a thing, I'm not subscribing to this one, but there was something much larger to invite such a drastic action from the government. That's what I have to say.
Diddly Jack. What does Pallavi Ghosh know? Diddly Jack.
Pallavi Ghosh doesn't know. Pallavi Ghosh said there was no such thing. Pallavi Ghosh said it is just
Pallavi, who just arrived, knows Diddly Jack. Ask her.
Is there?
Well, no one knows.
See, there is no doubt.
No one knows what's
there is no doubt.
Suhail, stop heckling the other panelists and focus on your own points, no? You've annoyed me today, you've annoyed Sandeep today, and Pallavi's just arrived, you'll annoy her.
Hi Pallavi, how are you? We were just praising you.
Hi Suhail, so nice to see you.
So nice to see Pallavi coming off camera with all the makeup on, great.
She's looking
Everybody
good.
is so cleaned up the moment they look at you with your anchoring dress. So before the mic shoves up or it goes up anywhere, take it. Go for it.
Yeah. So you were discussing Jagdeep Dhankhar?
Yeah. No, we were discussing the next flight to Mars, on which we will put you along with Hamid Ansari. Obviously, we're discussing Dhankar. It's on the bloody thing. It says the topic. This is what I'm saying.
It was too much of me to expect that Suhail is going to be nice to me for a long time. And then I really
He's being
miss this,
obnoxious
Suhail.
today.
Yeah. Today, excuse me.
Start here.
So I don't know where the discussion was at that, and then only can I talk.
It's irrelevant, boss. You give your own spiel.
It was around conspiracy theories.
Let's go to Sandeep. Sandeep said that you guys were discussing about some conspiracy theory with Jat MPs and stuff like that. Possible.
She was not. Her competitors on another channel were discussing,
Right.
but Pallavi discounted. Pallavi said they know nothing. Okay.
Basically, Sandeep said that Pallavi and he, means Shondeep and you, had a long conversation at which you said that your colleagues in other channels were discussing things of which they had no clue. That's the essay, the succinct précis of what we understood from what Shondeep was saying, qua you. And then you arrived, like anything.
Okay, the little bit I know about the Dhankar issue. Okay, so I remember I can only give you what I got from the ground, because when I went to Parliament that day, and this was just a day after Dhankar suddenly resigned. So, I went into a minister's room, and I'm not going to mention the minister. They were obviously very happy. They were very, very happy. And though they said that this was kind of building up, it's not that it just happened over time, but they let it be for a while. What really upset them is that there was a plan. The government wanted to bring the impeachment notice against Justice Verma first in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So if you notice, a day after he resigned, it was in Lok Sabha. In fact, the day he resigned, it was in Lok Sabha where all these MPs went, and we saw the photo op with speaker. They planned a similar one in Rajya Sabha. But what happened is, what the government, and this is where the intelligence failure seems to have come in, the government was not aware of the fact that in the last 2 to 3 days before that, he was actually meeting opposition MPs. 65 of them, minus the TMC and SP, had signed a letter separate impeachment of Verma. They gave it to him. That's where you saw those pictures of Mr. Kharge and Kejriwal. But they also told him that we want both Justice Verma and Justice Yadav impeachment to come up. So to which he told them, he didn't promise them, but he said, yes, I will look into it. So then what happened is, and the next day when in Parliament it began, Jagdeep Dhankhar suo moto, and this was Mr. Kharge's birthday, he talked about the fact that he acknowledged this 65 MPs ka letter, and he also said, I'm going to take it up, let me see, at the BSc. This is what the government didn't like. They said, first of all, the BSc, which is the Business Advisory Council meeting, which decides the agenda in Parliament, that is something which we should also be kept in the loop. You discuss this with the government. How can you talk about it on the floor of the House? And you're talking about an impeachment motion signed by opposition MPs. What about ours? So it started building up. And you know what happens when you don't like a person, then you find everything wrong with them. The thing that his wife was always demanding, which I think even Professor was talking about, and all of us knew, we used to see it, wherever he traveled, he took her along, and he gets up, enjoys the protocol. He wanted the same to be given to his wife, which was not always possible. So this was slowly building up. Like, for example, the car, if he's on a stage meeting a dignitary of another head of state, she can't be on the same stage with him. That's not what is allowed. You notice what happens when I remember when Pranab Mukherjee was there and his daughter used to accompany him, she would not be on the same stage as him. These are those protocols which are followed. He insisted my wife also be on the same stage. In fact, I remember we used to notice many of the events he would go for, Jaipur, Kolkata, kahin pe bhi, she would always be on the same stage sitting next to him. That's not allowed.
What a great judgment, dear.
See,
under other circumstances, you people would abuse a man. Now, I mean, you would praise a man, but now you're abusing him for being nice to his wife.
I agree with you.
I don't have a problem with him being nice to his wife. I think this is just like
no.
I mean, now you will say, why did you even have a wife?
No, there are two issues over here.
Why did he have a wife?
Advaita, the issue is not. He is very devoted to his wife, and in fact, he insisted that she go there.
And
the problem
is
don't give certificates. Don't give certificates.
Sandeep, 1 minute. See, the problem in terms of protocol, you take your wife along, your company, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. What they used to say is, for example, if he's meeting a head of government or head of state, she cannot be given the same position sitting next to him or the head of the government.
So where will she sit, Bhai? Where will she sit?
Are they
Let's
usually
imagine.
sit
No, I
niche,
think
they
it's a
sit
very important
separate.
discussion
For example, on a
of the
banquet
future
But this
of
is,
table.
husband and
but
wives.
this is a very minor issue, petty issue you're talking about, Pallavi.
Yeah,
This
Yeah.
wouldn't
Sandeep,
have
can I
been the reason
complete?
for.
Hey, don't
Can I
say that. She
complete?
gets upset. She's
No, I
very
don't get
emotional
upset,
and
but
sad.
let me complete.
Let her
Let me
complete.
complete. I'm saying this was not the issue, but when you want to, you look for a fall guy, and when you've decided that you don't like him, these are the kind of stories which are peddled out and they start building. I personally think
No, so
the
was he
impeachment.
sacked because of his wife?
No, he was sacked because of the impeachment thing. But what I'm saying is that if you look at the kind of stories which are being pushed out by many in the government, that he wanted a Mercedes, it was never a problem for them earlier. Now, suddenly, this has all become a problem.
But he had a
I think,
Mercedes.
wait, listen, I'm telling you now, look at the kind of stories which are being
But
peddled
which
out in the
model did he
newspaper.
No,
want? That's the
Pallavi, one
which
story
color?
which one knows about is clear. I think that's in the public domain. This was at US on the Business Advisory Council. He was insisting that he must know when the Prime Minister will intervene on the Sindoor issue. To which the others have put their foot down, saying that is our internal matter. Who's going to respond, when they're going to respond from the government side?
Correct.
You can,
But,
and he went on saying that no, you have to tell me when the Prime Minister is
but
going
he
to.
was not there in the Business Advisory Council meeting, boss. When the BAC happened, that was no one from the government there. That was the meeting in which JP
That was
Nadda
second.
and Rijiju
That's
didn't
when
turn up.
Listen
that
to
is
what Sandeep is
secondary.
saying. That
Yeah,
was the second meeting. The first
second
meeting,
meeting.
the government was there.
Bergman
No,
was
there
there,
was
and
only
he was.
one BAC meeting. There was
No,
one
no, no, no,
BAC
no, no,
meeting.
no, Pallavi, get your facts right. There was a 4 o'clock
ये
meeting
तो हाल
called,
है हमारे
which this
जजेस का.
There was no 1 o'clock meeting. There was a 4 o'clock
There wasn't.
meeting in which Nadda and
Pallavi is
Rijiju didn't
absolutely
turn
right.
up.
There wasn't any meeting.
Okay, Pallavi
I
is
was
right. I
there in
immediately
Parliament.
One
I was in
second.
Parliament.
Let me intervene.
The simple
Pallavi
thing
and
is,
Ajay, 1 minute.
Advaita,
Pallavi and Ajay are the only two people who are in Parliament. The rest of us are outside.
They are not
So
in
I just
Parliament.
gave a
They cover
summary.
Parliament.
I mean, they
I
cover
gave a
Parliament, so
summary.
they
No,
are
I
in the
gave a
You're
vicinity.
as
summary
much
that
in
this
Parliament as you're a
provocation
Nobel
was
Prize winner.
deliberate. All I said was his getting opposition impeachment motion before ruling party impeachment was a deliberate provocation. That
Yes.
closes the thing really.
That
Everything else
was
you can talk about.
that was the main, and I would say the only reason which upset. And there
Exactly.
were other things which were
Yeah.
building
Yeah,
up.
say that.
Because
Other
when I met these
precedent,
two,
that's fine.
Don't.
other things are
Yeah.
other things are
This
being
is the
pushed
impeachment.
out and revealed now because everyone wants to justify this. But my point is, when I went not one to two ministers and who are involved with the Prime Minister ke meeting mein, they told me categorically that look at they say things like, look at the way they spoke to us, the way he talks to us, and that was okay by you earlier. No, the main thing they told us is that we were preparing an impeachment motion and a memorandum with the Dhankar photo op, like the speaker photo op. Why did he have to go and collect it from the opposition parties of 65
Yes.
MPs? Not only that, this was on the day of Kharge's birthday. If you remember, Mr. Kharge was allowed to speak, and that was when Mr. Nadda also said, whatever I am saying will go on record. That was the first big hint to Dhankar that government is very, very upset with him. They were very upset with him for coming out with the impeachment motion of the opposition parties. So that is that was
This
the main
I'm
thing.
gonna go to
Nikita
Ajay.
Niyalsa
Ajay
is
wants to
right.
come in. Ajay, please. Ajay.
Pallavi, what you're saying, that could be the last straw. That was the big draw of blood that Mr. Dhankar effected. But fact of the matter was that this had been building for a while. And Mr. Dhankar has not actually been with the government on various issues successively in the budget session and thereafter, even at the beginning of the current monsoon session. This has been building up. The only question which really comes to my mind is, does it stop here? Because see, all of us, even I ended up writing a small piece on will Dhankar go Satyapal Malik way. Both Jat, both coming from Rajasthan Haryana belt, both being touted by the opposition. Very soon you will have Mr. Dhankar on YouTube, on various channels, giving interviews, doling out all kinds of enunciations and undos on everybody that he has been very, very respectful about. You might have all these possibilities panning out. But the question, which has also been a part of our discussion, is, does BJP really have a lack of people who can be trusted because they turn out to be something very different from they originally are or what perceived to be? And second, is this where the ball starts? Somehow I have a feeling this is the beginning of the ball rolling.
Ball rolling for what?
Upsetting
Which
the
ball?
government.
Rolling where?
Against
Ball
Modi.
Interestingly, Ajay, I just came back from Jaipur. I was in Jaipur the last 3 days, and coincidentally, a very senior journalist whom you would know, other he was a bureau chief of Times of India for many, many years, Prakash Bhandari, has written a piece, strangely, in National Herald today, which he forwarded to me. I thought it was an odd choice of a paper. When he says, contrary to popular belief, Dhankar's resignation has left people, the Jat community and all in Jaipur and Rajasthan pretty cold because they've always seen him as a very convenient, he's been an opportunist and a convenient this thing. So if he thought he was going to get immediately a lot of sympathy out there, that hasn't worked out so far. I thought that was interesting. And that's the sense I also got. And because a lot of the other innuendos or insinuations, whatever you might say about, not being so cautious in financial matters, etc. That impression also is pretty strong in Jaipur.
I mean, I will just give out a figure which came as a surprise to me. In between Dhankar's office and Rajya Sabha, there are 55 members related to his family and close associates' families who have been placed in service since he's become vice president.
My God.
So
and
it's
not
not
only this, Ajay, he apparently wanted that the CEO of the Sansad TV should be someone he chose, and it was a junior ranking officer. I mean, you know that. And then the matter went up to the PMO. And what happened is that, see, the ACC decides and the PMO decides. I mean, Sansad TV is a big operation. This didn't go down well. They kept on telling him that's not possible. So I agree that the impeachment thing was the final trigger. It was building up, but they were waiting for the right time. The right time was just offered to them on a platter with this impeachment thing.
Can I add
Again,
something?
his crib, one crib, just half a second, half a minute. His crib apparently was on Sansad TV. Again, you're talking about his so-called protocol or touchiness. He said, in protocol terms, the Rajya Sabha chairperson is higher than the speaker, and he apparently took out statistics of how much time Om Birla had got on Sansad TV and saying, how come I'm getting less time on Sansad TV? And that is why he pulled up the CEO, saying that, you are being biased and you're not giving me my due.
Which is
Can I add
probably
a-
true also. 1 second. Which is
The
probably
government
factual
version is
also.
different.
Listen, which is probably factual also. Maybe he wasn't getting as much time as Mr. Birla on
the
Yeah,
TV.
but what is the
government
Lok
Let's not,
Sabha? That's
yeah.
elected. He's a
I
nominated
want to
journalist.
touch another point, please. My point is that, see, there is a strong weakness in BJP of trying to co-opt outsiders as their own in a very critical positions. Satpal Malik was the first case where they thought he's a Chanakya of politics while he was nobody in politics. Already a Rogan case. He was made a lieutenant governor of one of the most critical times in Jammu Kashmir, and see how he's behaving now. Similarly, Dhankar is not from BJP camp. He was promoted looking at his case, what he did in Bengal without realizing his background. So this urge to quote people and not, getting your own very trusted people onto those jobs is a weakness with BJP, where they try to keep on increasing their basket with more and more people whom they actually nobody would trust. So this has
But
to.
Ratan
This is what they're
Chatterjee,
paying price for.
Ratan Chatterjee, he is also somebody who's been in the BJP for 20 plus years. So how long does it take for someone to be accepted into the fold?
You have
But
to
he's
be
also
born and have to
RSS
die there.
background, no?
No,
You
I
can
don't
say
know.
he was an
I don't
RSS
know.
man.
I am just
No,
saying,
no.
I don't think it's an
He
RSS
claims
man.
so. I mean, his people claim so, but
No,
I have
no,
my
no.
doubts about that.
These days, everybody claims that he's an RSS person. That's a different issue. But understanding a person's psyche, see, when somebody is boasting or arrogant about what he wants from the power, you see that sense. For example, anybody who claims to be close to Modi ji, may be selected for minister or maybe selected for an important post, that person goes out of the list. In such a scenario, a person who must have shown this kind of arrogance in many other places should get such a big post, and then the person doesn't live up to it. So there has to be some more. I think although they're very clear how to promote whom, but Satpal only one case that comes to my mind, which again reflects on Dhankar. So I have that
So
feeling.
which brings me
So,
to
as
the
I
next
said
question,
earlier,
and Sandeep, 1 second, brings me to the next question. Ratan Shada ji, there is conversation that the next person, whoever it may be, who will become vice president, will have to have a strong RSS background. Is that what you're leaning towards also in your analysis?
No. BJP has enough of the people who are in BJP for long years who were never RSS members. That's not the point. They need a tactful person. They need a person who will be able to handle all these people and has shown his loyalty to the party without being very show off or very trying to hog the limelight. Such a person might come. Where was Om Birla, for example? So if such a person is found, whether it's from RSS background or not, that's not important, because running a Rajya Sabha is not being a minister. It's much more tougher job when the opposition is baying for blood every time they come in the auditorium. So naturally, you need somebody who can tackle those people. So whether it comes from RSS or doesn't come from RSS, but a person who has been around silently in the background, some person might be promoted there.
Yep.
Yeah, the point about loyalty, which I mentioned, Advaita, earlier, Congress is far better at this. They won't even appoint a chaprasi, as I said, without making sure that there is 100% loyalty to the palace. And they have
Or if
a
they appoint
system of
someone, he
finding it.
becomes the chaprasi.
Yeah, that's another way of putting it. BJP is not good at it. So it's not just Satpal Malik. We were talking about, say, Shatrughan Sinha, or even earlier, everybody is.
Shatrughan Sinha, let me correct you. Shatrughan Sinha joined BJP when nobody is joining it. I know him from those days. I know him from those days when nobody touched BJP with a barge pole. So you can't say that. He has his arrogance. He has his laziness. When he became minister, he won't be available in the office. He was never coming on time. So that's his star power. But he didn't join BJP because of power. That much I can tell you. Though I have this problem with him, but he never joined for politics. He joined much more before that.
Suhail, again, the communication cycle is going nuts. There, the anti-Modi media is saying things like, Vice President is under house arrest. His kitchen has been closed. But he's getting food from the servant quarter. I mean, it's absurd. I've been down the rabbit hole. The kind of stories that they're coming out with is so amusing.
But that's because people like Pallavi's colleagues, and I'm not including Pallavi in that, they have no information.
They are net is off.
They are scavenging. So do you think they really give them monkey's toss? This is the blind leading the utter blind. So don't believe a word of what they say. Remember one good thing about Narendra Modi.
Yeah.
You will never know what he's thinking, and you will never be able to prejudge. The element of surprise is their uniqueness, both his and Amit Shah's. So whoever tells you something, uska ulta socho. All these jokers started putting, this fellow will be vice president, that fellow will be. We don't know. Did you imagine Draupadi Murmu would become the president of India? I didn't. You hadn't even heard of that.
I actually think that they're going to take time.
Everything.
I actually think they're going to take time to find a vice VP. Sohail, keep quiet. Enough. You're very annoying. Very annoying. He's muted now. I actually think that they're going to take their time to find a vice president. I don't think they're going to rush it.
But Pallavi, if there is an iota of truth in that, Pallavi, please ensure that you send them food from the IWPC canteen.
No.
The least you can do.
This was fact-checked. It was fact-checked by Parliament. So what? People lose elections and they still matter. Listen to me. What I'm saying is that
she's following the pattern of the party she reports on.
She's the Rahul Gandhi of journalism. She loses an election and her relevance.
Yeah, she's following the pattern of the party she reports on. It's fine,
so
Pallavi.
This was fact-checked. I've ignored him. This was fact-checked. Parliament issued a denial. I've been to his house. It's huge. It's on Church Road. And the kitchen.
We all know.
Why don't they do this? He's got a month to keep with the house. They are going to look for a place for him because obviously he's going to be the former vice president. So decent ghar milega and type. I don't know which type it is going to be. So these are all wrong. Yeah, so they were all completely denied by Parliament. I mean, there has been no sealing of his office.
Pallavi, sorry to interject, but this is the beauty that which I have asked many a times to Suhail also, and I would really like you also to talk about it. I mean, just look at the way the opposition parties walk away with the narrative on the social media. यार ऐसा लगता है जैसे कि whatever they plan, they execute and they just do it. There is so much of bullshittery and whataboutery that you really don't know what is really happening. Everybody ends up believing. look at the
Ajay,
entire about
I agree with you. And Ajay, the point is that they may not win elections, but they certainly win the narrative. I mean, no one from the government is even speaking out. I
I'll tell
don't know
you why.
why.
I'll tell
Someone
you why
needs
they
to
win the
speak. Someone
narrative.
from the BJP needs to speak. The only
They're
thing we've had from the government is the
single-minded.
Prime Minister's post on X. Other than that, nothing. We've just been fed their
Ajay,
stories which are coming out to the BJP reporters of, this, that. As such, nahi hai. This just whips
yeah,
up
yeah,
the
we got it.
sympathy. You're not going to make him the bad guy.
Yeah, for
So someone from the government needs to, the opposition is talking. They're giving sound bites. Someone has to
Ajay,
rebut
let
those
me tell
sound
you,
bites. Are we
there
roam
are
around in the
1 minute,
parliament?
yeah. There
Constantly
are two
opposition is
problems
telling us,
with
ye
the
hua, wo
BJP.
hua, this has done, and he put poor Kisan Putra, this and that. You just wait and
What the
watch in the days to come. From tomorrow, the Operation Sindoor is going to be discussed. SIR is going to create mayhem. I don't know. I mean, they may not win election, but of late, in terms of communication, the
oh,
opposition is talking more and more.
Let me tell
go
you,
ahead, yeah,
let me
please.
tell you, three things are happening. Number one, when the BJP speaks, it speaks in a very guarded manner. No minister will say anything because he or she is always worried about, getting rapped on the knuckles by someone superior. Number two, the opposition will always have an upper hand because they can take pot shots at the government. The government can't because government has to have some level of gravitas. The third is the opposition is single-minded. The government oblique the BJP cannot be single-minded because they have to, focus on what the prime minister is doing, then what the government is doing, FTA being signed, ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai, Maldives trip. Opposition is going hammer and tong after one issue. When you drill one issue down in any form of communication, it always stays more memorable and it stays with you. Old communication rules. So it's not as if the opposition inventing some new form of communication. Also remember
It effectively,
that
Suhail.
Pallavi's 1 minute. Also remember that there are many of Pallavi's colleagues who now want some level of political crumbs. The opposition is happily providing them those crumbs, whereas the government doesn't.
Who
So they
take
are also
names,
pissed
take
off.
names,
Huh?
take names.
Why? You take
Who?
names. All your pals, you know them better. I don't even know them. So, net, it is a shit show. And it will remain a shit show for a long time.
But Suhail, that is where is the
But why is
let's.
it Suhail versus Pallavi? Where have the others disappeared?
I think we are all getting back into the action. See, we are all there, coming back again.
Advaita
Suhail,
must have gone to the loo.
We were giving both of you some space. Yeah.
Advaita is playing a devilish game, trying to promote
yeah,
you.
she's experimenting with StreamYard multiple windows, which is
I'm so dumb at StreamYard that I actually paid for the membership and I can't access it. And now
Well,
I still
the
have
first part of your
please take
question, you
mine.
didn't need to
It's lying
elaborate.
useless for the past 4-5 months. You can use
Oh
mine.
my God, really? Okay, give.
Anyway, so let's Suhail. But you know what? Like I recently ended up going to Bihar for 3 days, and the whole hullabaloo about Sir. However, the people are not really that concerned.
They're
Not
not
much.
bothered.
They are not bothered. But the moment you look at social media, you look at the newspapers, you look at the way things are being discussed and brought about, it feels, oh my God, all the Biharis are running helter shelter there to get their voter IDs. Nobody is doing anything like this. And then you have 2, 3 of these YouTubers who are self-proclaimingly first inviting an FIR, and then when an FIR gets filed, they start crying, howling like sissies in the lab. It is mayhem on social media. It seems they have already won the war on social media, just like that Maharashtra episode where they believed during Lok Sabha that because of them they could create this 400 पार मतलब constitution खत्म. अभी वही कर रहे हैं.
See,
No, and this is, I think, wherein the BJP doesn't realize that the media narrative has shifted to digital media from mainstream media. And on digital media, the anti-Modi media is far more effective and far more active.
True.
but as I said, a government handle or a political party official handle can only say this much and no more. They have to stay within a framework.
Yeah, but
Plus,
Sohail,
they
there's
also
something
have to.
called, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's something called these closet BJP handles, in a sense. You have BJP supporters. I mean, let's take names. I mean, for example, who is the counter to a Ravish Kumar in favor of the BJP? Have they propped up such people? No, they haven't. And people like most of the people these days, the young, impressionable people, are the ones who are on their phones. They are logged on to YouTube, Instagram, so on and so forth. And that space is totally occupied mostly by the opposition. I
So
mean, the names.
since you know the BJP so well, why don't you give them
Point.
some advice?
But Pallavi, what will happen is, again, as Suhail is saying, these things are, it's a kind of a zero-sum game. Whenever, let's say, you're seen to be saying something pro BJP, how you're hounded immediately as
Yeah,
Godi
yeah, yeah,
critic,
totally,
because
totally. I agree.
that is how the public sentiment goes. This is really the tyranny of the minority or tyranny of the weak. So it is always they will get the upper hand. So even if,
But
let's say,
Sandeep, there was a time when the BJP
if
had the upper
Advaita,
hand.
Rahul Gandhi didn't have a Twitter handle in 2014. They obviously they didn't have, and that is the problem. BJP went into, or whether it's analytics, whether it is social media, BJP was ahead of the curve in 2014. Since then, that's true for many organizations, many things. BJP has remained static. They have remained complacent. They haven't. If you don't reinvent yourself, you
Yeah,
stay there at
that's key.
See, put you in a
that point.
different manner.
They
Advani
thought,
when he was a minister, he said, our people when they speak forget that we are in the government now. We are not in opposition. Similarly, the IT cell of BJP still believes they're in the opposition. So lampooning somebody, pulling somebody legs, making aggressive videos
see
are
certain
fine.
things,
But they have to take the stance which their supporters do, that actually explaining what's going on in a good manner. And some of them succeed very well, including, for example, our own Abhijit, the way he aggressively puts the points up. So these are the things to be done. For example, on SIR itself, what is the answer of BJP except, shouting on others on the TV debates or social media?
And the
They're
TV debate
explaining.
times,
Are
they
they
don't have
explaining
that
that how
resolution.
many people are deleted for what reason? That came very late. So what exactly is happening? What is SIR? Is there anybody trying to explain? No policy of the government has been ever explained by these IT wallahs who say, okay, this is the policy. This is how it. I asked somebody that on this all this noise on CA, did you ever see one single pager saying these are the issues of CAA, sir? What is wrong with this? No, no single pager. If people like us would ask, Bhaiya, what is wrong with CA? Tell me whose citizenship is going on. No. They would keep on saying, Tumne ye kiya, tumne ye kiya. So this tutu meme has not changed with the changing stances and explaining people what exactly this policy is, what exactly is farmer bill. So those who supported farmers bill, they had no support in the media by BJP groups, and those who were good, they were never highlighted, brought on the media by the people or lauded. So that is how we lose these people.
No,
and
and
that
and the
attitude.
thing is, go ahead,
No,
Sandeep.
so like people said that after the initial elections, if anybody went to the BJP top brass, says making with some suggestions of how to conduct, the immediate reaction was, "Tumne kabhi election jeeta hai? We have won this," and so they were dismissed. The same thing is true even for communication today. And it doesn't remain static. Everything has to be reinvented. With due
Yeah.
respect, Man Ki Baat was a great story to begin with, but now I think there is an element of fatigue, there is a blind spot, everything that itself needs to get reinvented. You will
They
just
need
can't.
a desperate refresh. They need a desperate refresh. Someone has to hit the refresh button when it comes to their communication
Unlike
strategy.
Sandeep, I got
And
very answers.
I think the
Sharda ji
Sunday
bade
Club can
sensitive.
come out with some great ideas. Let's sponsor this reshaping of
no
the
one even
BJP.
talks to us. I mean, they are not interested. So
You're
it's
sadly
fine.
mistaken. Miss Kala,
No,
you're
you're sadly
sadly
mistaken.
mistaken.
What am I
Ajoy,
mistaken about?
no, wait. That was exactly what Ajoy and I were talking about, but we will not give out all the details because we are supposed to meet up for what, Ajoy?
For what?
For what? Tell us. I mean, this sounds
For
so cheap, Pallavi. It
chai.
sounds really
We are
cheap.
supposed to meet for tea and coffee and tell you all the details. Why should we tell you
That's
here?
why you don't succeed. You people sit on tea and coffee. What will happen? Ask Suhail how to do this.
Ratan
Suhail
Shah
is
ji.
a sponsor.
Boss, I'll be
Suhail
honest with
hasn't
you.
invited even once.
I
I'm
have-
dying to get invited.
I have met whoever needed to be met, and I can tell you that what we are discussing here is of great importance. The BJP, to my mind, is inundated with a lot of headwinds. There are a lot of things that they have to handle at the same time. The opposition can fly stuff. B, when the opposition uses fake news, I mean, half the things that Rahul Gandhi says are untrue. Other than Steven Spielberg, the only other guy who's invented characters one after the other is Rahul Gandhi. No one else has invented more characters than he has. So the point I'm making is that unless you have a narrative, and I don't think, oh, you must have a counter to Ravish Kumar. You must have a person who understands the BJP and India. The problem is that political parties are only swimming in their own phlegm. They're not even getting out of the system. And unless that happens, you will have a problem. See, the spokespeople say the same thing. Everyone says the same thing. Go the media like Pallavi. I mean, unlike Pallavi says the same thing. I said unlike.
It reminds me, very interesting development. I don't know how many of you noticed. There was a tweet which was put out by Pawan Khera, where he's invited people to come and join as media panelists and spokespersons. So it's like lateral entry into,
Why not?
communication
Let's go, boys and girls.
No, but I think a
They
spokesperson
need
has
young
to be
people and they need
that
intelligent
person
people.
from the
So
party
you
from
might get
heart.
disqualified on both counts.
Why
Ajay,
will you
listen.
hire from someone?
Pallavi, listen, I want to ask you this. There is another, there's Bihar and all, and that's all fine. But there's another
No,
election.
this is the problem.
taking
Bihar is
place.
an important
1 minute.
issue.
Sohail,
You
keep
wanna
quiet.
toss
Now,
it.
I'm just going to
Bengal
mute
also,
you.
Sohail.
I want to mute
Bengal
you.
also.
Listen, Pallavi, but there's there's an important other election that's taking place, which is the Constitution Club election.
Yeah.
And the two candidates are Rajiv Pratap
Sohail,
Rudy
it is very
versus
interesting.
Sanjeev Balia.
I've never seen a fight like this for a club. It's very, very political. See, it is. So there's Rajiv Pratap Rudy, who's been, I think, this is going to be his third term. There's Sanjeev Balia. Believe me, the Congressies are supporting Rudy. And there is massive counter campaign. Again, I'm not going to take the names of top ministers being involved in ensuring that a change comes, because many of them are pushing for Sanjeev Balyan. So, and there is talk
Who is
about
Sanjeev
change.
Balyan?
Sanjeev Balyan was a member of parliament. He lost.
So
Sanjeev
he's not
Balyan
a-
is
the famous.
Look at her English.
He was from
He's a member of
Muzaffarnagar.
parliament, but he lost. Look at
Lost,
all
but he
that
is from
way.
He was
Muzaffarnagar.
a member of
And
No,
parliament.
but 1 minute.
But
Look
he
at her
lost.
language.
He's a minister of
This
state
is what I'm
also.
saying, of a bloody befuddled mind. He's a member of parliament, but he lost.
No, he
And
was a
Sohail-
member of parliament.
So just say he's a former member of parliament. Simple.
Okay.
Which school
He's
did
a
you guys
former
go?
Sohail, I'm
member of
actually
parliament,
going to bounce
Professor
you out
Sohail,
today.
sorry.
No?
No,
You
no,
must
no.
accept
It's
I accept it. I agree.
no, no,
He's correct.
Pallavi, the
I'm
fight
wrong,
gets
but
even
I
better
think
now.
you never heard me.
And just imagine the fight gets so better.
So it's
because
very interesting election, because
Yeah.
again, this is about that protecting the turf. So what Rudy is trying to change is that should be priority to MPs. See, it's also a fact that the Constitution Club has now been overtaken by
What does
anyone
it
can
do?
randomly.
What does it do?
Constitution Club is for the MPs. So
So
they have
non-MPs can't
restaurants.
become members.
No, not MPs cannot become.
So then how the hell is a non-MP fighting for presidentship?
Are politician hai na?
It's 1 second.
A former MP can contest.
Former MPs and MPs, it's open to them. Pallavi and all can go to the salon and the spa, but they can't use the gym. That's what
They
I
have a
know.
salon and a spa.
Yeah, they've got
And
a
yet these
fantastic
MPs look
salon.
as ugly as sin.
And they've got lovely gym there. They've got lovely food there. Then their think tanks, their events held there. So it's a nice place actually.
I think Babus are also allowed. Babus are also allowed in the club.
They can't become members. Only MPs
you can't become members. You can be there as
This is the
But,
real.
So yeah, if we are not going to become members, why are we discussing them this
absolutely.
evening?
It's rather better. Pallavi Press Club is even better, and the club in front of Press Club is even far better.
The Chelmsford Club, no?
Anytime we can have our tea there.
That was where dinner is being held, which I'm supposed to go for, but I can't. So.
Ajay, you get invited
yeah.
there. We only get Aam Panna at IWPC.
Come on, I give it to you with love. And Ratan Chatterjee is not complaining. So, Sandeep, next time you're not going to get that also now. Next time I'm not going to let you enter.
Tell me, are we discussing Bihar at all?
Yes, let's
Yeah.
get on to it. That's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
And
which
can I
I'm
tell you
keenly.
something? The
Ajay, start.
Trinamool Congress MPs have decided they're going to speak only in Bangla because they have started this Bangla Andolan because they
Yeah.
are also using the SIR to make the point that what is happening is the real true-blooded Bengalis are being pushed out of Bengal under this exercise.
Okay, but I
True-blooded
just want to say,
what is
I want to say
true-blooded
one thing.
Bengalis?
I want to say one thing before Ajay starts. This is not the first time the SIR is happening. It happened earlier in the early 2000s as well. So I don't really get why it's being so politicized and why it's going crazy. Ajay, over to you.
See, politics apart, SIR is an exercise which has happened uh, at numerous places, numerous states, numerous times by the Election Commission. The last such intensive counting happened in 2003, was concluded in 2003 in Bihar. So it's not something new for Bihar. Everybody is questioning the timing of SIR, given the fact that it is just after the Lok Sabha elections and prior to the Vidhan Sabha elections. And that now, surprisingly, the opposition is fearful of deletion of voters, while it has all this while been very aggressively complaining about addition of voters by the on the initiation of Bharatiya Janata Party. See, in Maharashtra, they protested that Bharatiya Janata Party got the voter list inflated. In Karnataka, they protested while opposition won, but they still protested. In Haryana, they said that the voter list was manipulated by the BJP. Fresh names were added. 6 lakhs new names were added in Haryana just prior to the election, as per the opposition, which tilted the scale. But in Bihar, surprisingly, they are very unhappy about the fact that deletion is going to happen. Now, herein there is a small error from the Election Commission also. In 2024, how come you did not discover that there were dead people in the list also? There should have been so there are lapses which have happened. But then if the Election Commission is trying to streamline the process, there's nothing wrong about it. And if there are, like I used to be a voter in Bihar, I got my voter list change. I now am a voter of Noida. But during this list, I realized that the voting slip came to my home. Despite an application for deletion, my name had not been deleted from Bihar. So people like me, that's what there are 21 lakh people or 22 lakh people who were living in Bihar, had their names in voter list, are not living in Bihar. And wherever you live for more than 6 months, and if there is an election that happens and you want to vote there, you're mandated to get your voter ID done for that particular state. So that's as per law, which is where the government has not been able to put things across, and especially the BJP. The BJP's communication on this particular episode has been absolutely pathetic.
But
Yeah.
Ajay, I think the final
Like
figures
many
will
other
come in from
episodes.
September. But I think when the final figures will come in September, I think the proof of the pie will be easy. But I want to ask you one question, Ajay, if you don't mind. This Tejaswi Yadav saying he's not going to contest possibility. Won't that hurt his cadre? Won't they be upset?
No.
Or he's just saying,
It is nothing but a pressure tactic by the opposition, especially people from his political party that I have spoken to. They dare not, let go of the election or bypass it or boycott it. They are just putting pressure, just like the whole narrative was built during Lok Sabha elections. 400 par, matlab constitution will be changed, matlab reservation will be taken away. They believe that they can do the trick again in Bihar and Bengal, obviously, because these are the where this narrative can work, and the narrative is very clear that they are going to take away your voting rights.
Exactly. That disenfranchise.
This is classic. I mean, and the sad part is that the BJP still is not able to come
exactly.
as
And
effective as they need to.
the entire language issue being taken up by Mamata Banerjee. Look at the number of figure or the total number of people who have been identified to be deported to Bangladesh. 1,000. How many people really deported up till now? Since 2021 up till now, 3,000 people have been deported to Bangladesh. That's all. The numbers of deportation from India to Bangladesh were much higher during the UPA tenure than it has been during PM
You see,
Modi's.
Ajay, as you said, you know, see, facts, why let facts come in the way of building a narrative?
So
So
the
there
fact
are,
is,
you are an exceptional Bihari who doesn't want to have his, you know, voter ID at two places. But I know maybe anecdotal, maybe a small sample size when Bihari people, or for that matter, other state, they enjoy the fact of having their voter IDs in two states. Because today there is also a veritable industry of people going back to their home state to vote. And you know, people go there, they get money paid, they get money from all sides, they stay there and come back. Apart from getting all the various other benefits which they are social security and social welfare benefits which are tagged to their Aadhaar and their local numbers. Now that is one part of the story. Second part, Ajay, again it could be anecdotal, but you can counter me. Corruption has got normalized. In Bihar, it's all about caste. So there are certain people, certain castes saying that we are being systematically franchised over there. We are being cut off because they don't want my caste to win. So, and that is where the narrative builds up. And everything else, you know, and the funny thing, I have asked a few people, आपका नाम तुम्हारा नाम कौन कटाया है? मोदी ने कटवाया है. That is the one line answer. If you ask somebody, हमारा तो वोट काट गया गांव में, कैसे कौन कटाया? मोदी ने कटवाया. So that is BJP doesn't get this. So this may be an absolutely, as you said, a legitimate exercise, though the timing is questionable. But how to get the communication across, and it boomerangs like so many other things. So I am not too sure, Ajay, when you are saying that there is no you know, backlash or any murmur in Bihar. How far that's true, because some of it may not be heard in Bihar today, but it could be heard about these people. You know, that's where your YouTubers, you bear me out on that. The Bihari YouTubers, the small timers, have become extremely powerful. I find people constantly listening to those fellows, those small time YouTubers.
Sandeep, it's a vicious industry. In Bihar and in various other places, if you have headed television channels and stuff like that, you know, a stringer is nothing. Sohail should have come in. Sohail, please come in. I mean, I can answer this endlessly for.
No,
I
I have to leave. It was lovely.
I also have to leave because
Pallavi, very quickly, tomorrow what's happening in Parliament, and then we'll all leave. It's already an hour.
So there is going to be first a huge protest on CIR at 10:30. Then kal debate hai, around 12 it will start. Rajnath Singh and all. PM I think is going to intervene day after. Rahul Gandhi and PM will do it day after. So Tuesday is going to be a day to watch out for. Okay. I don't think PM will speak tomorrow. I don't know.
Let's see. Maybe tomorrow we'll meet again to talk about this, because I think this is very interesting. And I hope the rest of you will be able to spare the time to do that as well. And last comments to Ratan Chadha ji, since he's been quiet for so long. And then we'll wrap it up.
About what?
Oh, that attitude. Okay.
General.
Never mind. I don't. Ajay, do you want to say anything?
No.
On this show, you can't be nice also to people.
I would add what Ajay said, that the atmosphere in Bihar, if you look at the opinion polls and all, it's evenly balanced. Nitish Kumar's drag and Modi ji's push is countered by Tejasvi Yadav, who for any reason is being liked by some people. And it is not a walkover for the BJP. And that is why they have to be very careful. And this boycott, they will not, because this is their best chance, if at all, to win Bihar. If they boycott, then next time they're not there.
Okay.
100%. If for any reason RJD and Congress combined doesn't come to power this time, RJD is over. It's its last bet. Because you will not have Lalu Prasad Yadav to see over after 5 years, most likely, given his current state of health.
I also have a question for you, Ajay. What is the likelihood of violence on the ground? Because that is something that there's always a risk of being fanned in these kind of situations.
No, not really.
No?
Bihar is
Okay.
Bihar is a very different kind of a state. See, once the violence that happened earlier was poll violence that was mostly led by the local mafias and the dons. The age of dons has now transferred into a very different ball game. It's the age of money.
All
So you
right.
pay your voter, you get things done. Violence is done in a very subtle manner. So election violence, electoral violence, communal violence, not really a possibility in Bihar. For that, there's enough of it in Bengal.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. And of course, pleasure to be back on the Sunday Club. We'll be back regularly as we lead up to the Bihar elections. And of course, during the week as well. If there's something interesting, I promise to come on live with fewer people and more knowledgeable people than what we had today. But
You're asking us, you're dismissing us?
Yes.
You're
You're fired.
We are fired. The boss decided to fire us. See you. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Sandeep. Bye.
Bye.
Ajay, wait.